a new school year here on Kwaj. And what better time than this to help remind students of the rules of the road and bike safety. Kids from George Seitz Elementary School came out to the bike rodeo to learn from the first responders about bike safety. Kwajalein Police Department, with the help of the fire department, local volunteers, and school staff, teach the children rules and safety while here on the streets of Kwajalein. After a presentation of the rules, students made their way to their rides for practice. With their checklists secured, they proceeded through the obstacle course. This course consisted of braking in a box zone, signaling for a turn, watching for traffic, and more. Students, with their bikes, scooters, and even some on foot, made their way through, putting what was discussed just earlier to the test. After each checkpoint, students received stickers for their completion of each course. Once students completed the course, they had the opportunity to visit the fire truck and ambulance, or even grab some water to hydrate, before it was time to return to class. It's great to see a community gather together for such a major event such as this. Now, if we could only get adults to follow these rules as well.
Stomping through squishy layers of smelly trash, a group of intrepid vector control specialists marched across the e-bike dump with a mosquito trap in hand September 10th. They swatted away small armies of filth flies and reached a small alcove green with low-lying vegetation and shade trees. A perfect breeding spot for mosquitoes. Kwajalein Atoll local government's disaster response manager, Abon Arilong, and his team positioned the trap, switched on its power, and made their return trip across the plateau of smelly refuse. The next stop was the Ibai Dock, another location identified by the Center for Disease Control as a prime spot for mosquito breeding. It was a hands-on training opportunity managed by Navy entomologist Lieutenant Commander Adam Strong, who is part of the Honolulu-based Navy Environmental and Preventive Medicine Unit 6.
You have to just squeeze it and pop that little tab in there. Okay?
The Navy team came to Ibai to work with local responders to stand up a defense against mosquitoes and other disease-carrying pests. The mission was a timely response to the recent outbreak of dengue fever on the island, which began in August and peaked in September. Lieutenant Commander Joe Morales spoke with AFN Kwajalein about the mission. A Navy Environmental and Industrial Hygiene Officer, he's the team lead for NETMU 6 in the Marshals.
I guess the main goal of the Vector team, this particular mission, has been to establish a base foundation of knowledge for spraying, but more importantly for providing surveillance of mosquitoes and other kinds of disease vectors in order to determine whether there's a potential for an outbreak. They're also providing guidance as far as using pesticides, how to perform dilutions, how to determine how much pesticide is required for a particular size area.
The outbreak of dengue on Ibai wasn't the sole reason for the NETMU 6 visit. The timing of the planned visit simply encouraged a strong emphasis on vector training, said Morales.
It's just that we have to give a little more time to the Vector team this time because it's a little bit more time sensitive. Absolutely.
The NETMU 6 team worked with CalGov staff, business owners, and island residents throughout the community of Ibai during the group's 9-day mission. Other training efforts dealt with water and food sanitation and medical laboratory practices, in addition to vector control.
Every single one of these programs, environmental health, vector control, laboratory, they're all being stood up as brand new programs within the Marshall Islands. So it's a really rewarding thing for us to be able to help these folks get on their feet and put them in the right direction from day one.
While Strong trekked around the island in the back of pickup trucks with the local vector team, Morales and other team members collected water samples around the island. They interviewed public and for-profit drinking water providers on Ibai, interviewed staff, and got close looks at what steps CalGov and businesses take to ensure drinking water is collected and stored safely for consumption.
So these all have coliform in them, but they don't have E. coli. It doesn't look like it's got E. coli.
One of our most important goals is to make sure that we help the people here get a clean source of water and maintain it. Sustainability is probably the key word for our mission.
In the Ebi Hospital's laboratory, hospital corpsman and lab technician Gian Molina discussed topics ranging from how staff dispose of medical waste, how they collect blood samples, perform testing, and more. He provided recommendations the staff can follow to improve their safety and that of their patients, with an overarching goal being to help staff develop a standard operating procedure that will help the lab take and submit samples and perform tests more effectively. NetMuse 6's efforts in support of the RMI Ministry of Health has been made easier by the individuals the team has trained and worked with on the ground. From microbiologists at the Ebi Hospital lab and local disaster managers to staff at the water plant and local businesses, everyone has been proactive and understanding of the importance of the work the team is performing, Morales said.
And they're very receptive. They're really receptive and very active participants, so it's been a real joy working with them.
What's up, Kwaj people? Welcome to Learning Kajin Mayal. I'm Sammy Jura. We're gonna learn some Marshallese to get you speaking better in the Marshall Island. Today's word is ruo. Ruo. Ruo is the number 2. You can use it by counting. Chuan, ruo, chillu. For example, if people ask you for extra gloves, you can say, "Eor ruo wat al glove," meaning I only have 2 gloves. Eor ruo wat al glove, meaning I only have 2 gloves. Now, go out and practice word ruo, meaning 2. You can use it by counting Chuan, ruo, or chillu. And tune in next time to learn more Kajin Mayal.
Subject C0KO, you have been accused of multiple assaults. Do you recall an incident that took place on February 22nd, 2018? Victims suffered blunt force trauma to the head. Nothing. Shortly after, another incident that took place on May 7th, 2018. Again, blunt force trauma to the skull, this time leading to concussion. You're not going to talk. Look, you might be nutritious, and yes, I'll admit, delicious, but you are a menace to this society. These are human beings, and the presence of you and your friends on this island must be seen as a threat. End of session 1.